When this Dashcam driver was making his way down the 405 freeway in Los Angeles, his morning commute looked like he was driving straight through hell. Massive flames engulfed the hillside to his left, sending thick clouds of smoke billowing across the highway. The skirt-ball fire had erupted just hours earlier on December 6, 2017, sparked by an illegal cooking fire near the Getty Center that the Santa Ana winds turned into an unstoppable inferno, burning down to the freeway's edge.
Wow. This is freaking crazy.
But this was just one of several recordings that captured the chaos that morning. Shortly after, the 405 was shut down completely, and mandatory evacuations forced thousands to flee their homes. By the time the fire was contained, it had burned 422 acres and destroyed 6 buildings. However, the skirt-ball fire was only a piece of the destruction that tore through Southern California that December, during what became the most destructive wildfire season in California history at the time. As this driver approached an intersection in Tainan City, Taiwan, a white minivan turned left just ahead of him. Then, out of nowhere, a tornado came tearing through the street, lifting the minivan onto 2 wheels and sweeping it away into a wall of rain and debris. The Dashcam driver immediately got out to check on the victims, and what he found was devastating. A woman who had been swept up by the tornado was left sitting in the middle of the road, battered and in complete shock. Meanwhile, the white minivan had been carried several hundred feet down the street and ended up wedged between trees. The tornado had been spawned by Typhoon Sotalor, which slammed into Taiwan on August 9, 2015, with 120-mile-per-hour winds and nearly 50 inches of rain. Miraculously, everyone survived, but just seconds earlier, any of them could have been directly in the tornado's path. On August 10, 2020, Brooke Porter was driving with her kids in Grimes, Iowa, to pick up something from Facebook Marketplace when a massive storm started heading straight for them.
Tornado for sure.
When she finally realized what was happening, Brooke quickly reversed and sped away. But while one of her children in the back seat started crying, the situation only got worse as the wind grew so violent that debris started flying everywhere.
What is that? That is a tornado for sure.
So can we go to someone's house?
Instead of panicking, the mother desperately searched for shelter while her oldest stayed calm in the front seat, guiding her like a co-pilot.
Okay, what should I do? What should I do?
Go to there. Is there a house near us?
We're going in here. Right here.
Lydia, no crying.
Okay.
Moments later, they spotted a Baumgar store, and just before the storm reached its peak, they rushed out of the car and made it inside with no serious injuries.
Okay, guys, get ready to run. Ready?
I'm not beating my ears.
Just run. Just run.
Lydia, don't run. Lydia, don't.
Go, go.
But the storm itself was catastrophic, traveling 770 miles in just 14 hours, killing 4 people and causing over $11 billion in damage, making it the most expensive thunderstorm in United States history. On May 8, 2017, this driver was making his way down Interstate 70 near Wheat Ridge, Colorado, when hail started falling from the sky and cracking the windshield. Some of the stones reached 2.75 inches in diameter, and when hailstones get that big, they fall at over 100 miles per hour.
There goes my windshield.
The driver pulled over, hoping it would pass, but the storm only intensified. Each impact started sounding like a gunshot until the windshield couldn't take it anymore. It completely shattered, flooding the car with glass and ice. This would go on to become the most expensive natural disaster in Colorado history, with over 167,000 vehicle insurance claims totaling $873 million. Combined with home and building damage, the total hit $2.3 billion, more than double any previous disaster in state history. This driver was evacuating his home in Beacon Hill as the Fort McMurray wildfire closed in. His dashcam captured the terrifying escape down the only road out of town. At first, the flames were in the distance, but as the drive continued, the fire on the right side grew more intense. Sparks started flying everywhere, and embers rained down on the vehicles. Then panic started breaking out as the road got more crowded. Cars were forcing their way in from side streets, and even deer could be seen fleeing alongside the traffic. The situation got worse with every passing second. The fire crept closer, burning debris flew across the road, and thick smoke made it almost impossible to see. But then, the driver finally reached an intersection where police and emergency crews were directing cars to safety. The Fort McMurray wildfire became the costliest disaster in Canadian history. By the time it was contained on July 5, 2016, the fire had burned nearly 1.5 million acres, destroyed over 2,400 homes, and forced more than 88,000 people to evacuate, the largest fire evacuation in Alberta's history. Miraculously, no civilians died during the escape. On March 11, 2011, Mr. Murrow was stuck in traffic about an hour after Japan's strongest earthquake in recorded history, a magnitude 9.1 quake, when he noticed cars ahead of him being swept away. What made it even more terrifying was the wave he couldn't see, the one barreling down on him from behind. Then it hit. At first, his car rocked forward with the tires still touching the road between waves, but 25 seconds later, it completely floated up and started drifting out of control. Vehicles around him bobbed like toys in a flooded bathtub, smashing into each other as drivers opened their windows, desperately trying to escape, because if they didn't, the riptide would pull them out to sea. For 4 agonizing minutes, Murrow floated helplessly as his car got caught in a fast-flowing stream that shook it up and down violently. But then his vehicle slammed into a building, which may have saved his life by stopping him from being dragged into the ocean. He escaped just before his car sank and later recovered the footage from his waterlogged dashcam. However, he wasn't the only one who captured this nightmare. The trucker was still driving when the earthquake struck, shaking the entire road beneath his wheels. And before he could even process what was happening, the floodwaters came rushing toward him, surrounding his truck within seconds. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami killed nearly 20,000 people, displaced over 450,000, and caused $220 billion in damage, making it the most expensive natural disaster in history. It also triggered the Fukushima nuclear meltdown, and to this day, these recordings remain some of the most haunting footage of nature's power ever captured. This dashcam footage starts with a peaceful drive through the mountains of Misamis Oriental in the Philippines, until the entire hillside suddenly gave way. The driver slammed on the brakes and reversed just in time as a wall of mud buried the road ahead, while on the right, a family can be seen running from their house as the landslide swallowed everything behind them.
Asa nag-teacher siya ate sa
Diya
Medina?
sa Medina Center ka uban-uban na mo ba murag gyapon na mo igsuon.
Lagi oh.
Pag umayan, tigna. Hala, kuya atras! Kuya atras! Kuya!
Had anyone been just a few seconds earlier, they would have been buried alive. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly a routine drive can turn deadly and how close this family came to losing everything. On October 16, 2018, school bus driver Nathan DeYoung was making his route in Leander, Texas, with a single 12-year-old student on board. Record flooding had hit the area, but that didn't stop him from driving around a barricade, clearly marking the road as closed. The moment the bus entered the flooded crossing, everything went wrong. The rushing water engulfed the hood, and within seconds, the bus was swept completely off the road, floating downstream, hitting trees and debris, tossing helplessly in the current for nearly 2 minutes before getting stuck. Inside, the terrified student called his mom, who immediately contacted the police. First responders pulled him to safety just in time, and the driver was fired and arrested. But if you want to see even more intense footage, watch our 20 most disturbing dashcam moments next.